All right, so let's jump right in. We're talking about a book that's so influential, its ideas have become a part of our everyday language. George Orwell's 1984. In this explainer, we're going to peel back the layers of this super terrifying world called Oceania, figure out how its mechanisms of control work, and follow the story of a guy who had the guts to even think about pushing back. So, to get your head around this place, you just need to know the three official slogans of the party. Get this: war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. I mean, they make zero sense, right? They're complete opposites. But in this world, that's the absolute truth. That's the law. The whole society is built on these giant, crazy lies. Okay, so welcome to Oceania. This is our setting. It's this massive, totalitarian superstate that's always at war. The people in charge, they're called the Inner Party. And their leader, the face of the whole operation, is this mysterious, all-powerful figure with a big black mustache. A guy they just call Big Brother. And you've probably heard the phrase, Big Brother is watching you. Well, here it's not a metaphor, it is dead serious. Literally. Everywhere you go, your home, your job, out on the street, there's this thing called a telescreen, and it does two things. First, it's constantly screaming propaganda at you. But second, and this is the really chilling part, it's watching you back. It sees every move you make, hears every single sound. Privacy? Yeah, that's not a thing anymore. So the person who's going to guide us through this nightmare world is Winston Smith. He's not some big hero, just a regular guy, a low-level member of what's called the Outer Party. And his big rebellion, the crime that kicks everything off, it starts with something so small. He gets his hands on a diary. And in this tiny little corner of his room, the one spot the telescreen can't quite see, he starts to write down what he's actually thinking.
See, in Oceania, you don't have to actually do something wrong to be a criminal. Nope. Just thinking the wrong thing is enough. Having a thought that doesn't perfectly line up with what the party wants you to think, that's the worst crime you can possibly commit. They call it thought crime. And really, it's the only crime that matters, because every other crime starts with a thought.
And that's the thing. The book says it perfectly. Thought crime does not entail death. Thought crime is death. The second Winston even thinks about writing in that diary, he knows he's done for. He basically considers himself a ghost. Because you can't escape the thought police. It's never a question of if they'll catch you, it's always a question of when. So you have to wonder, how on earth does the party keep this level of control? Well, it's not just the constant watching. It's something way deeper. They control reality itself. And we get a front row seat to how they do it through Winston's job at the Ministry of Truth, which, ironically, has nothing to do with truth. So what does Winston do all day? Simple. He rewrites history. It's a 4-step process, day in and day out. First, an order comes down a tube. It'll point to an old news story, maybe a speech, that doesn't match what the party is saying today. Second, Winston's job is to rectify it, basically rewrite it to fit the new narrative. Third, he sends the new, fake version back into the system. And fourth, he takes the original document, the actual piece of history, and drops it into a chute called the memory hole, where it's burned to ash. Gone. Forever. And this is all based on another one of the party's core ideas. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Think about that for a second. Because they have total power over everything right now, they can reach back and change anything that's ever happened. And if you control what happened yesterday, you can control what people believe today and where they're going tomorrow. It's a perfect, unbreakable loop of power. And what if you're a person who falls out of line? Well, you become an unperson. You get vaporized. And that doesn't just mean they kill you. Oh no, it's way worse. They erase you. Every record, every photo, every mention of your name gets scrubbed from history. It gets to the point where it's not that you died, it's that you never even existed in the first place. And this constant rewriting of reality creates this huge gap between what the party says the world is like and, well, what it's actually like. The propaganda paints this amazing picture of a powerful nation of warriors with giant machines and incredible weapons. But what Winston sees every day? It's a dump. It's decaying, grimy cities, people who are starving, shuffling around in worn-out shoes. It's a city of 1,000,000 dustbins, as the book says. So how is the society structured? It's a pretty simple pyramid. Right at the tippy top, you've got the Inner Party. They're the brains of the operation, but they're less than 2% of everybody.
Then you have the outer party. That's Winston's group. They're the hands, the ones who do all the work to keep the system running. And then at the bottom, the massive base of the pyramid, you have the proles. They're about 85% of the population. And the party strategy for them is just keep them poor, keep them entertained, and let them be. They're considered too dumb to ever be a real threat.
But Winston's private little rebellion in his diary, it doesn't stay private for long. It starts to grow into something much bigger, something real. He meets Julia, a woman who works in another department, and they start this incredibly dangerous, secret love affair.
Winston has this great line about her. He says, "You're only a rebel from the waist downwards." And that pretty much sums her up. See, Julia doesn't care about overthrowing Big Brother or big political ideas. Her rebellion is all about personal freedom. It's about breaking the rules just to feel something, to experience pleasure, to feel human in a world that tries to stamp all of that out.
And together, they manage to carve out a tiny piece of freedom for themselves. They find this little room above an old shop, a place with no telescreen. And that room becomes their whole world. It's like a little pocket of the past, a place where they can just be human. For a little while, anyway. They have this beautiful, secret life away from Big Brother's eyes.
But you know it can't last. This is Oceania, after all. And just like that, their little sanctuary is destroyed. They're caught. And Winston gets taken to the one place every citizen fears most, the Ministry of Love.
The moment it all comes crashing down is just chilling. They're in their room, and suddenly an iron voice says from behind them, "You are the dead." Turns out there was a telescreen hidden behind a picture on the wall the whole time. Their safe place, their private world, it was never real. The party was watching every single second.
And this brings us to a really central question, right? I mean, Winston is a nobody. So why would this all-powerful government go to all this trouble to break one guy's mind? Why not just get rid of him? Well, his interrogator, a really sinister party official named O'Brien, is about to explain why.
O'Brien lays it all out. He says, "We do not destroy the heretic because he resists us. We convert him, we capture his inner mind, we reshape him." See, the party doesn't just want to stop people from disagreeing. They want to make disagreement impossible. They don't want prisoners, they want converts. They want to get inside your head and rebuild it from the ground up. It's the whole reason they invented things like newspeak, a language designed to literally remove the words for rebellion from your vocabulary.
And this all builds to the final, most terrifying lesson of the entire book. Why do they do all this? The surveillance, the lies, the torture. What's the ultimate point? The answer is simple. Power. That's it. Just pure power for its own sake.
O'Brien explains the evolution of tyranny. He says that in the past, dictators said, "Thou shalt not. Don't do this." Then totalitarians came along and said, "Thou shalt. You must do this." But the party, their command is, "Thou art." They don't just tell you what to believe. They tell you what is. They don't just demand that you say 2 + 2 = 5. They torture you until you genuinely, truly believe 2 + 2 = 5.
And that's why they can't have martyrs. If someone dies defying them, it proves that defiance is possible. So that's not the goal. The goal is conversion. They have to break you, completely and totally. They make sure that before they're done with you, you don't just obey Big Brother, you love him. And in the end, that's exactly what happens to Winston. After everything they put him through, he's finally broken. He's just an empty shell. His own thoughts are gone. And in the most heartbreaking final sentence, he looks up at a poster of Big Brother, and he realizes he's won the victory over himself. He loves Big Brother. It's over. He's been cured. Which brings us all the way back to the question Winston asked himself in that diary, right at the start of all this. In a world that completely controls the past, where every fact can be changed in an instant, what does it even mean to be sane? If you're the only one who remembers the truth, are you the sane one, or are you the one who's crazy? It's a question that's just as powerful today as it was when Orwell wrote it.